I'm excited to be doing this again. Yeah, this is good. This is good for me. This is good for you. This is good for us. Okay. Hello and welcome back. I'm back from my long road trip. Yes, I am back home here in my living room and I'm going to be doing a stretching routine with you. I have decided, since I have quite a few things to tell and share with you, that I would be doing one of my original stretching routines. It's a little bit longer than usual, so if you're ready, go ahead and find a place that you like to stretch and let's go. Yes. Okay. Handy dandy. Okay, so we're going to be starting with our shoulder rolls. So let's just start by rolling our shoulders forwards. Just raise them as high as you can. Bring them as far forwards as you can, as low as you can, as back. And just try and get your shoulder to do a whole circle. Yeah. And now we're going backwards. Same thing. This is really cool because it allows your chest to just open up. This gets the blood flowing to your neck. It gets the muscles warm. This is a great thing to do throughout the day and at the start. So next we have the neck roll. We just want our chin to chest. Let the head hang. And just roll our head from side to side. We have the neck laterals. So we just want to make sure that we lower our head to one side, put our hand on the top of our head here, and just apply minimal pressure and allow for a nice stretch in the neck. I'm just going to get through these shorter stretches before I start with my story time. Yeah, let's get warm. We are switching sides. If you like, you can flatten your hand and just press downwards. That's going to allow for a little bit more of a stretch in the neck, and you may even feel your nerves in your arms. Well, you're most likely going to feel, but give it a shot. I'm going to sleep now. I've been wanting to do this video with you for like a week now. I've been back. However, I had been on my period, and unfortunately, this time around it came with some really crazy nerve pain, just shooting throughout my entire legs, to the point where I have not gone a day or a night without taking pain medication. Not usually my go-to. Usually I just try to go through it, but this time, I tell ya, it's a whole another beast. Okay, we have our head downwards, both hands together. We are doing the diver. We want to have a rounded back and just lean into this. Yeah, it's been wicked hard. Today I had my first EMS training again. That's with electricity throughout your body while you train. And I gotta tell you, with that high voltage shooting through my body while I exercise for 30 minutes straight after 40 minutes on the treadmill, easy, nothing. That was nothing. That's nothing in comparison to the pain that I've been feeling with my nerves these last couple of days. I have a high pain threshold, but damn, wouldn't wish this on anyone, honestly. I'm so grateful that I get to live a pain-free life the majority of my time, honestly though. So any hour without pain, I recently read, is more luck than... Okay, so don't quote me. I can't quote. It's really, really, really good to live a pain-free life, and if you do, just to give that some recognition, notice. I do. Anyway, so back to the point. It's now in the evening. I have don't know what, but I still wanted to show up for you, for me, and do this. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out the timing between the stretches and my story time. Okay, so I actually had I hadn't told you much about my road trip from the beginning because I planned on doing like a release series, like, hey, I'm in this city and this is what I'm doing. Now I'm in this town and in this country, this is what I'm doing, like as I'm going. But what I realized, if you have only 1 or 2 days in a city or a place that you haven't really been before, you kind of just want to use that time to check out the place that you've never been before. And because editing takes, we are doing the trunk twist. Make sure that your hips stay and they're aligned. You can do that by squeezing your butts. Then they just don't move as much. We just want to twist. Where am I at? Okay, yeah. So editing takes, well, videos like these. Oh, hold on. I'm going to do it this way. And then I'm just going to restart this trunk twist. Okay, we're going to redo this. Because editing takes a whole lot longer than you might think. I might thought. And but I did do one really cool thing. And that is I took a whole bunch of pictures and little video snippets, which is something that I have, oh, right, butt clenched, which is something that I, for years, have been looking at other people on social media, and they just post these year or monthly recaps. I'm like, oh, that looks cool. We are now doing arm circles. Let's start with going in the front. That looks cool. That's like a great way to keep memories. If only I would do that. All I did was do the thing, and now I have a whole bunch of footage, which is really cool. So I finally, as soon as I find the time, or make the time, I'm going to do like a little travel series of my trip now that I'm back and I'm home. But a quick little preview to that. We are now doing arm circles backwards. Try and make a whole circle, focusing on this back here, because a lot of the time you just want to get here and then just really try and focus on doing a circle. Because where was I? Anyways, so the trip consisted of me going to Frankfurt to visit a friend, and then I headed to Paris, and then from there I went to southern France, to the countryside, because the original reason for why we are doing arm swings, okay, the reason why I even planned this road trip-ish is because a year ago on Instagram, I saw that a advertisement for a women's only summer camp where you're there for a week in a French castle, and it's all inclusive. That means you can get meals made for you, you can drink wine, you can do arts and crafts, you can make jewelry, you can do sunrise yoga, and you can go kayaking, and you can ride horses. Okay, that kind of caught me. I'm like, horses! I could ride a horse. Okay, we are doing the ragdoll, and I'm just gonna go ahead and press back. We went to lower side. Okay, so this is when my legs, my nerves are saying, Jamie, what the fuck? Okay, so as you can tell, I was super excited about horse riding. And then I decided when I was getting my vacation time, I might as well take like a week before and a week afterwards to do some cool stuff. And so that turned out to be the drive down there, because I figured with the car I would have way more air squats, way more freedom to just decide where I go, when I go. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to visit a friend. Haven't seen her in a while. She lives in Frankfurt. Did that for 2 days, and then I drove to Paris. That was a 6.5, at least on Google Maps, 6.5 hour drive, which turned out to be a whole freaking day, because when you drive alone, you got to take your breaks. And when I arrived there, it was evening. And so I had about 2 days in Paris, except that in Frankfurt, when I was sitting near the river with my friend, I got bitten by some mystery bug, to which I had a really crazy reaction. And that bite just swelled the heck up. It was super duper painful. I couldn't really move, I had feverish symptoms. We are doing leg swings. Fever symptoms. And so one of my lovely participants in my courses, she saw the video and she was like, hey Jamie, that looks pretty wild, you should probably go to the hospital. And I'm glad that I followed her advice. I did that, and I got some cortisone, some meds, which is good because shortly after that trip, I'd be in the French countryside with no pharmacies in the area, so that was awesome. And so, the second and last day in Paris, I was fairly pain-free due to the incredible pain meds I was on, and I walked everywhere. I saw a whole bunch of the city. I saw the tip of the Eiffel Tower from pretty far away. I was standing at the Louvre, the museum, on top. Didn't go inside. So, I mean, I just gotta go again to Paris. Feels like I've unlocked. Ooh, okay, so this says knee circles. Instead, I'm gonna do hip circles. We are gonna do hip circles. We wanna get into a slightly bent knee position, and then we would just want to roll our hips. If you have a mirror, try and get your hips really to accentuate on the sides. When I began practicing this, could get like a really nice turn around here, and then I just go straight here. But the more you do this in front of the mirror and actually see what you're doing, the better you get at it. Oh, where was I at? Oh damn, no clue. Anyways. Yes, okay, got it, sorry. We are going the other direction now. So now that I've been to Paris and realized it's only like a 6.5 hour drive or a train ride away, it feels like I've basically unlocked a map. Like if this is an open world game, which, you know, it is, I've just unlocked parts of France that are fairly close by, and I can just, you know, theoretically and totally just go to France whenever it's possible. We are now doing the lateral lunge, and I'm gonna go ahead and press back, get set up, feet wide apart, and we are gonna do like a little squat, one-legged squat, the other leg is extended, you know, just do what you see. And yeah, so that's cool. I had a really nice matcha ice cream that evening, and don't hate me for saying this, but I had the best Italian food in Paris. I had some crazy good noodles. You know, see, if it wasn't for the part that I still have so much of Paris left to see, it'd be the noodles. I mean, I'm going back for there for sure. We are doing jumping jacks. Oh, this is fun. Okay. Okay, so after Paris, drove down to the summer camp. Another whole day drive. I arrived pretty late in the evening, and it was dinner time when I got there. The whole dining room was completely full. All the tables full except for one spot. They're just like, oh, you can just go ahead and sit here at this table. I got into conversation with the ladies on the right. I'm like, okay, y'all, this is a whole bunch of Americans. Is everyone here American? Majority, yes, turns out. Only 4 people besides me, we are now doing this, were actually not Americans. Let's just say 98%-ish were American. So I'm talking to them, and then there are these 2 girls around my age left of me. I'm just talking, I'm like, did you just speak in German? And they're like, what? You can speak German? I'm like, yes. And they're just like, we thought you'd be just another American. And I'm like, 50-50. And we linked up. They were just so inviting right from the start. They told me about themselves. They've been friends for like 10 years, and like different walks of life, met in school, then did different things out of school and just maintained their friendship. Like, that's so cool. And we then decided after dinner to go to this raised platform where they did morning yoga and just look at the stars. And the cool thing is, there's no light. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Feet wide apart. We are now doing toe touches. Okay, so there's no light pollution in this French countryside, which is awesome. So we were looking up at the stars, and immediately I could see like a star map. I'm like, oh, I know these stars. This looks so cool. And then we sat a little bit longer, and I noticed I couldn't recognize anything. All of the little stars that I couldn't see before were there. It was a mess. There's just so many gorgeous, gorgeous stars in the sky. I have no idea how they ever managed to draw the pictures or figure out constellations, because when there's no pollution, it's just bam, everywhere, splattered stars. We are doing the seated hamstring. Take a seat. I'm gonna go ahead and give you a moment to sit down. And me too. I'm gonna press go. We want to, and pause. Okay, so we want to have one leg extended. The other knee is here at a 90-degree angle. We want to have our foot underneath our knee. This extended leg, we want to pull our toes towards us so that we get a nice stretch in the back of our leg. From here, with straight back, we want to lean forwards. Ah! Okay, so while I breathe through the pain, I'll tell you. Okay, it was awesome. It was so, I'm gonna go ahead and press go. It was awesome. We were looking up at the stars, and then there were just so many shooting stars. It was endless, like every few seconds shooting stars. And it said, hey guys, like at home, even if there's like light pollution, there's probably basically constantly shooting stars. We just can't see them. So you could, make as many wishes as you like. We are now switching legs. Just, you can make as many wishes as you like constantly, all the time. Because if it's daytime, it's still, we're in the middle of a galaxy, just surrounded by stars. Just do it. Make as many wishes as you like. So we did that together. We'd make wishes. We made some really nice wishes for ourselves, for the world. How do we want to see, how we want to see it. And just good things for people. And then Cassandra, so these girls are called Cassandra and Suzanne. And Cassandra, we're just having a really nice moment. And we are going back to Ragdoll. We're looking up at the stars, making our wishes. And she says, in a very peaceful tone, I wish that every time my ex washes his hands, his sleeves get wet. And then it just came out of nowhere. I had never heard anything like that. And I just cracked. I'm like, what? I mean, it's hilarious. It's just so non-violent. It's just not much of a revenge. It's just like, could you imagine how incredibly annoying it is for the rest of your life? Every single time you wash your hands, your sleeves get wet. What? I just thought that was so creative. And I loved it. But that just basically is a tiny sneak peek. We are doing the lunge. We have I'm going to go ahead and restart it. We have our back leg on the ground with our foot flat on the ground as well. We want to have our knee above our, ankle on this side. And then we're just going to go deep into it. We're going to be raising both arms and keeping our shoulders low. I'm going to go ahead and restart this. So they just, I loved listening to them. I loved talking to them. They made me feel so incredibly welcome. And they signed me up for activities with them. And I made some really incredible friends. And I'm so grateful for that. All the other women in the camp were also so kind and open. And there were a couple of friend groups there. That was cool. We are switching sides. It was a wonderful experience. I, although, haven't had that much bread in ages. So every single breakfast was the same. We had croissant, pain au chocolat, which is like a croissant with chocolate, and a raisin croissant, a pastry, which was awesome. And I'd eat that all the time, and I'd eat way more than I needed to. But, went on vacation, go for it. And we are now switching into the reverse lunge. So from the same position, we just want to extend the bent leg and then lean forwards if you can keep your back straight. Food was awesome. Activities were awesome. I drank wine one day and then totally regretted it the next day because, you know, that last wine just wasn't necessary. But, you know, you got to learn your lesson. And I did. But I had fun that day. But the next day was terrible. Okay, so the next day I had signed up for horseback riding, hungover. That timing just lined up perfectly. But it wasn't the horse riding that took me out. No, it was the ride there. 30 minutes in the shuttle and lots of sharp corners. And oh my God, I felt like I was dying. But I was just so grateful to be on land again when we finally got there. And I picked out the biggest horse. Remember, I'm at the summer camp because I got the chance to ride a horse. I'm like, can I ride that one? And they're like, yeah, sure, go for it. I'm like, woo! It's so pretty. Its name was Blue, or is Blue, and it's beautiful. And this big boy was, we are now doing the lizard pose. So we want to get into a lunge again, angle at a 45-degree angle-ish, and you can put your hands on the ground. I'm going to go ahead and restart it because I'm again. Anyways, so this big bad boy, or good boy, decided to be at the back of the pack. I'm like, okay, we're doing this. And I'm so happy that he made that decision because, well, this boy was snacking all the time. Every few steps he could, he'd just go ahead and say, oh, hold on. I'm going to go ahead and eat a snack here. Every few steps, I'm like, oh boy, let's keep going. But I got to just enjoy being outside, kind of far-ish from the group, which is cool because, which is what I preferred, because I wasn't like in the middle of this horse chain where everyone's just having their conversations. I was just totally separate from it, and I got to look around. I got to enjoy the quiet, the peace. I had a really nice time. But the ride back in that shuttle, that took me out. That was the end game. That was the end boss. My God. It got worse because I had to throw up. I did. My whole body started tingling. I got numb. I'm like, hey guys, I gotta get out. And thank God we are doing the side lunge. They were very accommodating, stopped the bus right quick. I made it 8 feet. Shuttle driver, good woman, handed me a plastic bag. I'm like, whoa, okay. Don't want to get into the details, but whoa, oh my gosh. Not my best day, no. But I made it back alive, and that's cool. And then I just didn't do that again. They had a pool, went swimming. I made jewelry. I made an arm cuff. I thought of my mom so my mom's passed away like before I moved to Germany, and something that she always had on her arm was a nice gold cuff. And I asked while we were making jewelry. It wasn't just like make bracelets together. No, it was like get a piece of metal. We're doing ragdoll again. Oh yeah. Get a piece of metal. Here's your hammer. Here's your metal wool, just bash at it. And that's what we did. I'm like, hey, can I make an arm cuff? Is this possible? And Caroline, wonderful woman, she's like, yeah, of course we can. Let's make that happen. She showed me how. And everyone else had made rings and bracelets. And I had this arm cuff. And I'm so glad that I asked if I could do it. We are now doing cat-cow, down to the ground. Because when I wear this, I kind of feel a little bit like my mom. And I think of her. I mean, I think of her always, almost always, yeah. But I feel closer to her. And she was so sweet, Caroline, the instructor who showed us how to make jewelry. She told me she's always with us, and she was so kind and shared a video with me about like a
psychic in a taxi. And I thought it was just so sweet that she shared something that she finds special with me. We're doing frog pose. That's right, get to the ground, legs far apart, and just into it. And, you know, now I have this arm cuff that gets me a little bit closer to mom. Yeah. Okay, what else? The castle grounds had plum trees. The plums were like the size of cherries, and you could just pop them in. They were awesome. They were just so awesome. Okay, we are doing folded butterfly. I'm gonna go ahead and give us some time to get into it. That means I'm gonna restart this. So, what we are doing, we have our feet together, legs spread like a butterfly, and then just folding over, as so in the name of folded butterfly. Yeah. I had a great time at camp. It was a wonderful experience. I got some crazy nice views. My gosh, it was gorgeous there. Ugh. Yeah, I'm so grateful that I decided to act on that and make it happen. I'm so grateful that I had the means to make it happen. And yeah, then when camp was over, I'm gonna go ahead and press go. When camp was over, I packed my car and went to the next place. And I got to drive through some really cute, totally beautiful, picturesque, old school French towns. It's just all stones and wooden roofs, and it was gorgeous, gorgeous. I'm so grateful that I drove with my car. I'm not one that usually likes long car rides, especially not alone, well, when I'm the only driver. But this time, totally worth it because I got to see so much. We are now leaning back in the seated chest. We want to have our arms behind us and just basically press our shoulder blades together so that we can just open up our chest. I'm going to go ahead and restart this. Open up our chest and just sit here. And so the next stop was Nice, France, southern France. I know, I wanted to see some water, and I'm glad that I did. But the drive into Nice was super intimidating. I'm not sure if you've ever seen Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm talking about the cartoon. When they went into Ba Sing Se, the Earth Kingdom, it's basically just a huge city with a whole bunch of red rooftops. And when they're riding into there, you just see a shit ton of buildings. I'm like, damn, that's a lot of people. We are now doing the seated twist. We have one leg extended. Our other leg, our other foot, we want to have, yep, we're going to place this on this side of our leg, on the outer side of our extended leg. And what we're going to do is, hold on, just trying to recreate this picture. Take our right elbow, or basically the elbow on the side of the extended leg, and put it on this side of our bent knee, and then twist. I'm gonna go ahead and press go. Anyways, super, I'm like, because the road into the city is at eye level to all the roofs. So it was just like so many buildings. I'm like, I'm in the wrong place. I'm in the wrong place. Like, how many people are there here? But then I went off the road. Did not run off the road, but the road basically went down into the city, ground level. We are switching sides. And then all of a sudden you could just see all of the architecture, the beautiful buildings. And you're like, okay, this isn't that bad. This is nice. And when I finally got settled in, I went on a walk and went onto this really big hill and saw the ocean. My God, it's so gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. Just the different depth levels of the ground, or the sand and the water, just made different shades of blue, and it's gorgeous. Okay, so we are now doing our leaning figure four. I'm going to go ahead and pause this. So if you remember, we want to have our knees bent. What I like to do to get into this is just basically raise my booty from the ground, lift this leg, bend it, and then put my ankle on this bent knee, and then sit down. Sitting down in this position allows me to then just scooch my leg a little bit closer, and so you have a deeper stretch right here. Okay, now we're getting into this. Okay, and it was just gorgeous, gorgeous. So I didn't have all too much time here, 3 days in total, but I went to Izé on one of those days. It's a neighboring town, supposedly pretty, but all it was like, well, it was a small hill with a botanical garden on top, which was cool, but I had to go. So it was like, all right. But the reason why I went there is because one of the girls at the summer camp recommended it to me, saying Rihanna's favorite perfume shop is there. I'm like, well, the daughter of a woman who knows fragrance, loves this place, I might as well go. And you know what? Best decision ever. I found my favorite perfume there. So if you know butterfly trees, I have no idea if they're actually called butterfly trees in English, but they're the purple ones where butterflies love to be on. That just smells so freaking fantastic. Oh, I posted them in my previous Paris video that you saw probably. And every single time I see them, I just gotta stop and smell. It's a must. It's a must. Anyways, this perfume smells exactly like it. I'm like, so I've never been, you know those people that you pass by in town and you're like, damn, that's a, blah, is that a whole perfume store? I will unashamedly, without shame, I will now be that person. I don't care. I smell like my favorite pretty butterfly tree. And it's so nice. I'm like, oh, we are doing another rag doll. Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do the seated fold again. We're going to keep sitting. Sit down, sit down. Anyways, I now have another beautiful perfume that makes me smell like a goddess, like a beautiful plant. Okay, so Nice, back to that. A really cool thing about Nice was I really wanted another matcha ice cream. Yeah, like I told you, I was in Paris. I went to a matcha place. And like, I need that again. I need to hit me up another one of those. And so I found one, the only one in Nice. It's called Ichigo Ichi or Ichi or something like that. I may just post it, but I can highly recommend it. This place, 10 of 10. Super friendly staff. He's like, it's gonna take 3 minutes. I'm like, 3 minutes, go ahead, do it. And he brought this beautifully presented piece of ice cream out, and it just tasted so good. So they obviously have their own recipe. I think they used condensed milk because it was a little bit sweeter, but it was so good. It was, okay, we are doing the squat stretch. Sit down and you'll squat. This looks cool. But we are just gonna go ahead and make sure that we have our elbows in our knees, and then we're gonna put our hands together and lower the hands so that they basically press our knees apart. I'm gonna go ahead and restart this again. So this ice cream, I gotta tell you, I was in Nice for 3 days, had to go there twice. I would have gone there far more. I kind of contemplated staying longer. That ice cream, ooh, crazy good. And I got my nails done. I got my nails done in Nice, and they're gorgeous. It's been like 2 weeks now, and they barely budged. Like these ladies, they put effort into their work. They did it good. They did it great. We are doing the leaning 90-90. So what we want to do is we want to start with our feet a little bit further apart, and then we're just going to let our legs fall to the side. And so we have 90 degrees here and 90 degrees here in our angle, in our knees. And then basically sit in a leaning position. I'm going to go ahead and restart this because I was, explaining the move. And this is pretty. One evening I decided I would just go ahead and walk along the beach and just see where it takes me. So I did that. I got into my pretty swimsuit, put on a skirt over, had my jewelry on, and I went on a very nice stroll along the beach. I walked for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. I'm like, okay, now I could use some water. We're switching sides. And I went to the gas station, got a bottle of water. And when I went to pay, I opened up my purse and I didn't have my wallet. I'm like, you have my wallet. I just walked 2 hours here. I don't have money for this water. Oh, he was so friendly. He was like, hey, that's a really good walk. You know what? I'm glad that you made it here. I'm gonna give you this water. He was so kind. He gave me the water. And he's like, do you know where the place to be is tonight? I'm like, no, I don't. Um, we are now doing the other 90-90. Basically, we want to have 190 in front of us, 190 behind us, and just lean forwards. So he's like, yeah, so you probably passed it. He named a club, a beach club. And he's like, so I'm like, I don't have money. I can't get in. And he's like, you know what? So the guy who works at the entry, the bouncer, he parks his car here. And if you tell him my name, he'll let you in. I'll be right in after. I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. I'll do that. I'll try it out. And so we are switching sides. I went there, told him his name. I'm like, so he at that and that gas station said I just swing by. Is it okay if I come in? And they're like, yeah, you know what? Come in. Okay, you just gotta drink out your water and then you can go in. I'm like, okay. I really greatly appreciated that water. And I kept the water bottle. I kept the water bottle, made it super flat, packed it into my purse, and then just, filled it up again while I was in the club, which is cool and smart. It's a good way to stay hydrated when you have no money. We are doing the reverse butterfly. So we want to have our feet wide apart, knees together, and then just basically lay down. Oh gosh, this is nice. I'm going to go ahead and restart this. Ugh. Yeah, so what I did is I walked up to the beach. There were so there was a little extension to this place. There wasn't it wasn't a sandy beach, it was rocks and a platform with 2 chairs on it. I'm like, ooh, I can sit there. So I walk up and then the guy's like, oh, whoa, you can't go here. You can't go any closer to the water. I'm like, oh, okay, but can I sit on the chair? He's like, nah, that's mine. I'm like, okay, can I sit on these rocks here? And so I sat down on the rocks to the side of him. We are now doing the reclined butterfly. We want to have our feet together, legs out, like butterfly wings, and chill in. So I just sat down and looked up at the stars and watched the waves crash on the rocks. I say I had the best place in the house. Yeah, it was gorgeous. Ah, it was awesome. And I was approached by a young man. He offered me to join him in the VIP. He's like, hey, I'm over there. If you like, you can go ahead and join me. I'm like, okay, cool, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and stay here. But thanks for the offer. And then we are doing the pelvic tilt press. What we want to do is have our knees back up, still bent, and we are just basically going to tilt our pelvis upwards so that our lower back is completely flat on the ground. Okay, gonna go ahead and restart this. Very kindly offered again, and then eventually, but no pressure. Eventually, when I decided I'm gonna go ahead and walk around a bit, check this place out. I stopped by. He invited me to a glass of wine and some conversation. That was cool. And then, after a bit of time, I decided I'm gonna go to the dance floor. Thanked him for the conversation and the wine. We are now doing the spinal twist, one leg extended, and we are basically just gonna go ahead, bend this leg, bring it over into the ground. I'm gonna go ahead and press restart. Went to the dance floor, did my jive, had a good time, and then called it a night. And I walked back, and I don't know if I should share this. Okay, so I was approached on the way home. It was pretty dark, but quite a few people out still by throughout the 1-2 hour walk by quite a few men. A lot of them I just said, thank you, I appreciate it, but no, I'm just gonna go home. Thanks, no,
Not interested.
We are not switching sides. And a lot of them understood what I was saying. No. Yeah? There were two guys, different parts of the way home. One guy couldn't speak English, couldn't speak German, tried speaking to me through a translator. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to talk to you through a translator. And I told him that. And then I just told him no, very clearly. You'd think that men would know the word no. Anyways, eventually got past that. And then close-ish to home. Well, I still had like 40 minutes home. There was another guy that just... We are now doing the puppy pose. Okay. Okay, we're getting up. We want to be on our knees. Basically start in a four-legged position. Extend our arms. And then lower our back. Anyways, so same shtick as before. The other guy said like, hey, look, I just want to go home. I don't want to talk to you through a translator. I'm not interested. And I told him no, very, very clearly. And, well, he followed me. And then I'd stop and wait for him to pass. And then he'd pass me and go like 200, 300 steps. And then he'd stop. And then he'd come back to me. And then I'd tell him to, no, I'm not interested. I really don't want to. We are now doing child's pose. Okay, so what we're going to do is basically the same thing, but we're folding over and into it. Very clearly told him no, over and over. And then he'd do the same thing again. He'd go ahead, like 500 feet, and then he'd stop and turn around or wait for me. And then eventually, until I came to him. And then I just turned around. I'd walk back. I went to the other direction. I'm like, I will figure out another way home. And then he continued to follow me. He went into the direction I was going. Until I approached him again. I said, hey, this is not happening. I do not want this. Leave me alone. No. 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 You would think that would do it. Anyways, I was close-ish to home at this point, and I didn't want him to know where I lived. So what I did is I did what every mom tells you to do as a kid if you were lost. And I found a mom and her kids, and I told her, that man over there is following me and he won't leave me alone. And the thing is, he didn't leave. He saw me doing this, talking to other people, and he was still standing there. And the young girl, the sweetie pie, she understood me because the mom didn't speak English, but she's like, oh, I know what's happening. She told her mom, I'm like, can I please call the police? She told her that. And so I called the police. They were there pretty quickly, and right as they came, he turned the corner and left. He was probably still there. I talked to the police. I'm like, hey, there's this guy, he's following me. I told him I'm not interested. I just want to go home. And they're like, should we drive you home? I'm like, hopped in, and they drove like a different block, different way home, and I got back safely. But we passed the guy on the way, and like, is that him? I'm like, yeah, turquoise shirt, shorts, black headphones. And they're just like, are you sure that you said no? Are you sure that you made it in a way that he could understand? I'm like, yes, I told this man to his face several times, no, I'm not interested. And then I kept saying no, and then I said no, no, no. And they look at each other. It's a van full of policemen. They're like, yeah, that's a no. Okay, so we got to go after him. So they dropped me off home safely. I get to go to bed, and that was the story for me. Oh, and I still have so much to say. We have finished, but should I continue? Okay, so if you like, you can continue with my story time. Otherwise, you can say goodbye. But I'd love for you to stay. I'm gonna try and keep this short. Or should I do a part 2? I'm gonna do a part 2. Yes. Oh, smart. Okay, so this episode ends in Nice when I had my first encounter with a stalker. I learned how to deal with that. You know, it's just one of those things that you learn in life, and this time was find a mom and her kids, call the police, and stay calm. I kind of, yeah, stay calm. I'm very, very glad of how I handled that situation. I'm really good at boundaries. I have, over the years, learned how to set boundaries and how to say no to men. As you may have heard, I do it very respectfully. I thank them. I say thank you very much, and then usually it's understood pretty quickly. But then there are the people that, for whatever reason, don't want to take a no as a no. And in that case, I'm very, very grateful that I'm safe, that I was safe, that there were many people around, and that I handled the situation the way that I did. It's just one of those things, you know? I don't welcome it into my life. It's not something that I'm happy to experience. It's not something that I want to experience again. Not at all. I think it's lacking in respect and understanding. It happened, and it doesn't need to happen again. I passed my test. I proved that I could handle it, and I'm glad that I did. But yeah. Well, anyways, it was an awesome trip, and that's only the half of it. Let's just call this the cliffhanger. It gets better. I had a really nice trip. I did, because after Nice, I kept driving along the French to Italian coast and then up to Milan. Yep, that was the next stop, Milan. Oh, I do have one more thing to say. Why did I go to Nice? Why did I go to Milan? Why did I even go to Izé? Well, the cool thing is when I was planning this trip, I had planned the summer camp and then the way there. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop in France, by my friend in Frankfurt, and then go to Paris, because it just worked out. But I left that last week totally open. I hadn't booked anything. I've never done anything like that. But I'm like, you know what? Let's just try it. I'm going to go ahead and be open. Maybe I meet someone along the way who has a cool idea where I could go. Maybe I'm going to meet people at the summer camp or somewhere along the way that say, hey, come on with us. We're going to do this. I don't know. But at summer camp, the girls were just telling me where to go. So one of them said, go to Nice. Well, a few of them said, go to Nice. Nice is beautiful. And then go to Cannes. And then go to Izé. And then told me about the perfume shop. I'm like, okay, that's one place. Where else should I go? And then I got another recommendation. Like, go to Milan. Yes, you want to be a model? That's like the fashion capital. I'm like, oh, there is a smart idea. Why, thank you. And I did that. And Suzanne, who loves Italy, she's like, you know what's only half an hour away from Milan? I'm like, no, what? Lake Como. I'm like, I've heard of that. Okay, I'll go there. So, a little sneak peek for next week's episode. I don't know when I'm going to do it, but next episode, when this cool story continues, is the portion where I was in Milan and Lake Como and my ride back. Yes! Thank you so much for joining me again. It's been a while. You know, I was super tired when I started this, but doing this just lights me up with joy and energy, and I got to go tell you a little bit about my time, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was slightly entertaining. I know that I was talking quite a bit. I mean, you're welcome, but we may not have had the most structured stretching video. I hope you could follow along well enough. I mean, I did scroll back a few times so that we could still do it, but I hope you had fun. I really enjoyed talking to you. And yeah, so I mean, if you have thoughts, feelings, emotions, things you want to share, please leave a comment. I love reading what you have to share. I truly do. It's probably one of my favorite things about even creating this channel is this communication between us. knowing that you're there, knowing that you watch what I put out and that you like it, or I don't know what thoughts you have. I can only repeat myself to everyone I tell about this. The best thing to come of me creating and uploading is you. It's you. Oh my gosh. Like, just so looking for the notification, like, did someone write? I'm like, yes, 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 yes. It's the best. It's the best. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and shower and go to bed because it's late, and then say bye bye. And until the next time, thank you for tuning in. I had a wonderful time, and I'm a little bit, okay, you know, okay, kind of still hurts, but better than before. Thank you. Bye.